is Monday. I'm not even joking, there have been studies. And logically, this is probably because Monday is the start of the working week, and more importantly, the school week. And the phrase I hear most often on Mondays is, I'm depressed. It goes something like, I'm depressed. I have so much homework. I'm depressed. I have so much homework due in 2 hours, and I stayed up all night trying to finish it. And that's this guy, guys. And then there's the, I'm depressed. I bought Bitcoin when it hit 20,000. And the truth is, none of these people are actually depressed. Well, okay, maybe the Bitcoin guy's depressed. But having a lot of homework and being sad about it doesn't make you depressed. In fact, depression is actually a legitimate mental disease that can literally take away your will to just do anything. Depression currently affects over 300 million people, and that's not even including the people that have already been through it. So depression is just huge. Our current method of treatment is therapy. So you just go up to the guy, you talk to him, and eventually you get better, right? There's just one problem. We only have about 70 million therapists for our 300 million people with depression. That's just not enough therapists. So we have 230 million people being affected by depression. What do we do? Right now, it doesn't seem like we're doing anything, because what can we do? We simply don't have 300 million plus therapists. So let's turn to technology. Artificial intelligence is a rapidly emerging technology that's doing a lot of things right now. On the left over here, you've got Pepper, which is a robot that can literally talk to you and dance. And on the right, you've got IBM's Watson, diagnosing cancer probably while on standby. So AI is doing a lot right now. So basically what AI does is it has these computer programs that you can use called neural networks. And what they do is they're kind of based off the human brain, and they can actually act like humans. So most neural networks are known as vanilla feed-forward networks. And this is basically just because they have an input, it goes through whatever other magic the neural network does, and you get an output. It's that simple, so vanilla. And feed-forward because it goes one way, input to output. However, a really unique type of neural net that I'm interested in is known as the recurrent neural network. So first of all, it's unique because it can have multiple inputs and outputs. So you can have your regular one input and one output, but you can also have one input with multiple outputs, multiple inputs and one output, and then just multiple inputs and outputs. But this isn't what makes the RNN really unique. If you look on the right there's a diagram that shows you a really simple recurrent neural net. And if you look in the middle with a thing labeled H, that's what's called a recurrent core cell. And what this does is it has a hidden state. And every time an input gets passed through it, that state changes. So it's basically remembering each and every single input that goes through it. And this is really important for something like, I don't know, a conversation. Because you can't really hold a conversation if you don't know what the other person just said. Like if you don't believe me, just try asking Siri something and then holding a conversation. Guys, it doesn't work, trust me. So recurrent neural networks would be really good for a conversation, and we actually have this. It's called a chatbot. So chatbots are really great, but they just have one problem. You see, a chatbot factors in every single input there is. So it factors in everything that you've said to get an output. But what if it's factoring in the fact that you said hi to say something? Like, does it really need to know that I said hi at the very beginning of the conversation to answer my question about quantum mechanics? No. So that's why I use something called a long short-term memory cell, or LSTM cell. And what this does is it basically decides whether the neural net should forget, remember, learn, or use inputs. And this actually solves that problem, which makes chatbots really great. This is an example of what would be an older chatbot. This is programmed in with if-then statements. So like, if he says 8, then ask him the next question. If he says gibberish, you said gibberish. So you can see that he's like actually just putting in 8, 7 p.m., the date with slashes and everything. I don't do that with text. But with newer chatbots like this, like just look at the middle one. It said K. I don't say K. What is happening here? So this is actually a chatbot I made myself, which I trained on movie lines. It's buffering right now. Okay, there we go. And basically it's showing that a chatbot like this can actually exist. So with a chatbot like this existing, our problem is basically solved, because we might only have around 70 million therapists, but we have 700 million iPhones, and I'm not even counting Androids here. A simple chatbot app could impact hundreds of millions of people. In fact, we already have something kind of like this, which is called Wobot. So Wobot is what it sounds like. It's a bot for depression. And you can just talk to it, let up whatever it is that's going on, and everything's perfectly fine. Chatbots are going to be huge in the future, because with this one use case, we're impacting hundreds of millions of people. What happens when Pizza starts using them? So guys, chatbots are going to be huge.